I want just more paint. I want thickness. So I'm just sort of sideways touching the shirt. Just laying it on really thick. Really, really putting on a lot of paint. And you'll see why in a second. This is good. All right. So now, some of you who know the mountain stuff know what's going to happen. We're actually going to use the palette knife and some more white to make this highlight. So we're going to mix in some white into that blue, get a nice highlight color. And then we're going to cut down this color with the knife sideways almost, and get a thin little roll of paint. Then we're going to touch the shirt wherever we think there's light, and we're just going to lightly, 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 almost like we're not even there, like a whisper, just lightly, lightly, lightly drop in some highlight. I don't know, that highlight's not even strong enough for me, so I'm going to mix in some more white. And you can sort of get it marbled if you want. I have some white and I have some blue on there. Look at that. That's so thick. I love nice, thick impasto. So I'm going to let mine be that way. You can let yours be however you want. I want Bob to have a collar, so I'm going to come in. I'm just going to make a little form there. That looks like a collar to me. Maybe it needs some more white. Yeah. Okay. Now it's time to go ahead and give him some shadow. And I thought that I would do the shadow the way that you make twigs in the Bob Ross program. So what I'm actually going to do is thin little bit of Prussian blue. Just getting that thinner and getting it really, really wet. And a little bit of Van Dyke brown. You can see how much paint is on this palette. I've been painting all day today. And again, rolling it and getting a point. And then starting at like the tip of the elbow, I'm gonna just touch and then lift and wiggle and make a shirt. See how that dark against all that light makes immediate contrast, and there's such a sense of form now. I think I'll do another. Just like the twigs. Again, it's good to wrinkle, it's good to make sort of little zips and aberrations. And think about the form that you made with the knife and try to follow that a little bit. Give Bob some action lines. Let him be as hard at work painting as we are. Yeah, nice. Just wiggle it. I like that a lot. That looks a little bit like an armband, so I'm just going to lift it up a bit. Nice. And you can fiddle with it all you want at home. I'm sort of under pressure to move fast so that I don't bore you with all of my little minutiae. I think the next thing I want to do is go ahead and work on Bob's arm. So we're going to go back to that dusty, dusty rose color that we had. And be sure to clean out your brush really well so you're not getting too much blue in there, unless you want a purple Bob. So I'm in my dusty rose. And I'm just going to pull up a line. And I'll make another sideways comma. And we're right at the part which is probably the hardest in the whole picture, I won't lie. But I also won't lie and say that every hand is really hard to paint, because I don't know. I've had some experience with them, and with time it gets easier. So I'm going to try to do this really easily for you at home and let you sort of experience your first hand, if it's your first hand, or your 100th hand, if it's your 100th, and just sort of be free with it. Be as loose as you want to be. Okay, so again, we have this amorphous shape, and I'm going to go back into my highlight color, my body highlight color. And I'm going to paint a second line right on top. And immediately we're getting form. And that's because the light is interacting next to the dark to round off the form. So here's sort of my philosophy on hands. I'm going to get a point on the filbert by rolling back and forth. And then I'm just going to count to 5. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a hand for me. Now, it'll need some touch-up, of course, but keep in mind that if you ever need a model for a hand, you've got one. You've actually got 2, probably. Okay, I'm cleaning up my filbert brush, and I'm just going to pull a nice white straight line of white down into the canvas. Now, I have a trick for that, and that's to use your pinky on the canvas to hold yourself still. See how that line is easier to do when you have that pinky acting as drag against it? Yeah. Oh, see, I took my pinky up and it's already sort of changing. This is one of the few times where it's actually good to be straight. Put a nice straight line on the canvas. I was thinking about this picture, and I actually wanted to draw the canvas all the way down because, well, first of all, because it's quicker, to be honest, but also because it reminds me of that Velázquez painting, Las Meninas, and that's supposed to be like a psychological painting, interacting with the viewer, and I was thinking, well, like, that's what Bob does. So a nice straight line, and then just pull out that white. And here's where you can get really crazy if you want. I mean, if you want Bob to be making an abstract expressionist painting, you can. I mean, right here, it's a Robert Ryman white on white. Nice. And think about that hand now. I sort of want it to do sort of like a I want it to have a bit of shape. And I want these other fingers to have a bit of shape too. So I'm just sort of following the hand as I see it in my mind. And if you're painting at home, then you can actually put Bob in on the TV and use him as a model. Make him work double time as your teacher and your model. I've never done that. Looking good. Okay, really quick, just as an homage, I'm going to make a nice blue sky. Maybe really abstract. Maybe a little bit of blue is just happening up there. And maybe down here there's going to be some water or something. Come in with some brown, and maybe make a mountain. Maybe the mountain is reflected. Change up that contour a little bit.